Phil, you brought some of this really cool stuff here.
Oh, yes.
Tell us
some of my passions.
Yeah? Well, take us through your passions here.
Well, first of all, I made some rattles, and I brought some as examples here. I find various types of handles, if sticks, in the woods
I was going to say, so this is well, it's not driftwood because we don't have any driftwood here. But.
No, but I may have found this along a stream because it's weathered and
very,
just attractive in that itself. And I have some that I found in various parts of the woods and the areas around where I live. And I'm using the hide from the leftover scraps when I have a drum making workshop, and some of the smaller hides. These are elk. Because they're hard enough so that they don't get crushed, which is one of the early experiences I had.
I mean, I'm pretty strong, but I can't bend that at all.
No, you can't. And I made some out of deer hide, which is a little thinner. And when I did, I had at a craft fair, and one of the little kids came up and picked it up and crunched it. And I said, "Well, I can't make them out of deer hide anymore." I
guess not. Yeah.
So now
that's
really I sell kits. They're cheap, $5 for a kit, and I provide all the materials and the instructions. And the instructions have all the details.
And you also teach a class in this, so if people can't learn by just reading, they can come and you can actually show them, right?
Right. We have classes I can do on this, but I just brought this as an example of some of the work that takes. It's about a 3 or 4 hour process. And it's a good meditation.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I meditate when I make these drums and rattles. And let me get on to a little bit of the drum beaters, similar. Another stick I find around in the yard. I live up in the mountains, so I've got a lot of trees.
So, and you like carve those decorations.
Right, I just kind of nicked it out just to give it attractive.
I've never seen a polka dot tree.
No, there aren't any. But I just kind of cut them into it.
Cool.
And then I use just various types of wrappings. This has got cotton and natural fibers in there. And I kind of put a little bit of glue to hold it, and then I wrap it.
And a little bling. There's a little bling on there.
Something on there. And then, of course,
listen to
the drums. This is a 13-inch. It's elk. And I teach the workshop on this. I've been teaching workshops for over 20 years on drum making.
People, everybody's going to want one of these now. And one of the ways to find out more about this is actually go on our website, go to About the Show, and you drop down under About the Show, and your segments there, Magic and Mysteries.
Right.
And there's a whole flyer about shamanic drum making. They click right on that. It'll bring up all the information. And
I have a variety of sizes. The smaller size is like 10 inches.
Yeah.
This is a 13, and I think it goes all the way up to about 18. Used to have a 22
So there it is.
inch.
There it is. We're seeing that now. The Shaman Hoop Drum Workshop. And how you get in touch with and we actually might be doing some segments on the show.
Actually, we're going to tape a YouTube, and we're going to have a whole process. And it's about a 2.5 hour process. We'll videotape the whole thing, and then we'll cut into the segments so that you don't watch me stitch along the whole process. We'll show segment pieces of it. And
Magic
then we'll show
television,
we'll tie it all together in maybe a 15-minute video segment. Along the drum, you'll find.
How do you tune it?
No, it's a stretching process. When the hide is wet, we pull it up across the ring, the hoop, and start pulling it in and tightening it up. And during that process, you find different methods of holding the hide together with the back lacing to see how tight it will be.
So everybody can see.
As it dries, it starts to get. As it dries, it starts to get tighter. And there's techniques that I've learned over the years. I studied actually with 2 different drum making teachers, and I've combined the techniques from each of those into the way I teach the class now. And there's a sweet spot. I was trying to each of the drums along the various parts of the the surface has a spot where you hear the best tone, and it's called a sweet spot. And I love the way the hides are all different. There's no two alike. And there's different methods that we can use in the back for tying it up. And there's one that's most common is like a rosebud, and it's a rounder one.
Because that now looks kind of like a spider web type thing.
And there's different techniques that we have, and I guess there's 5 or 6 different ways of making them.
Okay.
But this has been one of my passions and hobby. I must have made personally about 25 or 30 drums.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And over the 25 years, every time I taught a small workshop, I had like maybe 1 or 2 people, I would make a drum with them.
Sure.
And when I had like 6, 7, 8, 9 people, then it was just tough enough just to keep up with everyone to help
I'm sure that's
with the
true.
processes.
We have some glittery stuff for us too, right?
Oh yes,
Here,
I have some.
I want to see this.
I have some gemstones.
Oh, look! You put a gemstone in there.
I have a gemstone. I have a gemstone and lapidary hobby. I tumble primarily now, although I had all the lapidary equipment to make cabochons and all the other processes. But now I'm kind of resolved to tumbling. It's my favorite. I started tumbling when I was maybe 10, 12 years old.
And you're talking about tumbling stones, not tumbling you and the Olympics.
No, tumbling gemstones. Okay. Primarily agates and jaspers. This is petrified wood. This is a petrified wood from Parker. Parker had a petrified forest.
No way. Colorado?
Several million years ago. And all the typical stones from Parker are in this kind of like beige, brownish, reddish color in there.
Sure.
And so that's typical of the Colorado petrified wood. And I broke up some of the uglier looking geodes, and I broke them into pieces and tumbled them. I've got jaspers. I've got rose quartz.
Rose quartz. I like
rose quartz. And it's just like I said, I just selected a variety.
Amethyst there, the purple stuff?
This one, no, it's not amethyst. Amethyst is a quartz crystal that is colored with the purple, the deep colored purples. This is more of a purple agate, that came about, and some carnelian pieces, and this is what they called just a general.
Rock.
There's 2 categories of these rocks. They are jaspers.
It looks like a rock to me.
Yeah, they are jaspers and agates. And a jasper is opaque, and the agates have translucence or transparency.
Now, the agates are the ones that sometimes almost look like they have little stories in them.
Oh, well, they're very colorful, and there's like moss agates, and there's varieties of them. And
picture agates. So agates. They'll be like...
Well, the same with jaspers.
Yeah.
There are picture jaspers as well. Okay. And they're very, picturesque on sandstone types. They're made into slabs. But this tumbling process, we're also going to show a video of a tumbling activities. I'm going to bring in one of the small tumblers and
a couple of gymnasts and
some of the polishing grits and tumbling grits, and we'll go through a little bit of the process again, maybe an hour's process.
So what would you do with those? I mean, some of those are lethal weapons, and if you tried to make them into the jewelry, you'd fall over.
Being a practitioner of magic, I use these magically.
Okay.
And there are various types of stones that used for spell workings.
Sure.
Okay. And
and you're going to tell us about that?
Yes. And I also have a workshop on the metaphysical, spiritual, and healing properties of gemstones that I teach.
Ooh, fun.
And we talk about some of the healing properties, some of the metaphysical properties, and of course the magical properties. We use all kinds of tools in magic. And, of course, things like the rattles, candles, the chalice, and so forth.
And so you're going to be talking about all that stuff?
All those things. We're going to have a short segment on a video and cover it all.
How cool is that?
I'm going to love it.
All right. Well, we're all going to love it. I think that's really exciting. I think that is super exciting.
It is for me.
Yeah. Well, no,
It's been a passion since I was like 12 years old, collecting rocks. And my mom used to complain about having rocks in my pocket when she washed my jeans.
I'll bet she did.
Yep. And I still collect rocks everywhere I go. I'm always looking for some of the pretty rocks.
How fun.
And now I can identify a lot of them as tumbleable. They have to have a hardness of about 6.5 to 7, primarily 7.
Okay.
In a hardness scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a diamond, 1 being calcite,
what, moles
like
or
chalk.
something like that?
Mohs hardness scale.
Mohs. See, I was really close, wasn't I? You didn't know I knew that. All right.
And so the tumbling process requires a same type of hardness stones together, because otherwise the hard stones will crush and tumble over the softer stones and break them up.
Yeah. So, no, I can see where that is like eggs. I mean, you know, whack an egg and got an omelet. Yeah. All right, we're going to go to commercial, and we're going to come back, and we're going to see how to. I mean, in bulk, hello, just a couple hours away, and so our crafty kitchen witch is going to show us how to get decorate some candles for the altar, and it looks like some of those pretties would be nice to put on an altar too.
They are. They're on my altars.
All right.
I'm chasing twisters down an avenue.
You're watching Modern Pagan TV. If you'd be interested in advertising on our program or becoming a sponsor, please email info@modernpagan.tv. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Same communication to your unspoken love.